Hello world, my name is UB, and 2 years ago I put up a video on a different channel long before the inception of UB Draws, and basically I did a makeup look slash green screen effect that was inspired by the movie The Voices starring Ryan Reynolds. The Voices is a movie that is very hard to describe, but basically it's a commentary on mental health mixed with a horror movie, mixed with some comedy, and it is absolutely bizarre, but it's one of my favorite movies in existence. I did a makeup video about 2 years ago of a severed head in a fridge makeup inspired by the movie, and it got some pretty good feedback, and I really enjoyed it. So I thought I would do a glow up of it 2 years later and put it up on this channel and try to really explain my process as I go. So I got started with my airbrush machine and my regular makeup. My first attempt at this was purely airbrush makeup, but I thought a little bit of traditional makeup would be best to really get the definition that I wanted in this look. I got started on this makeup a couple days ago, and I got my airbrush machine out, got it cleaned, all that good stuff, and made sure that I put my hair up for putting on the actual makeup. So with the airbrush, I use 70% isopropyl alcohol and Endura airbrush makeup. This specific brand is made to be mixed with alcohol in order to spray it onto your skin, and I use alcohol-based makeup specifically because I bought this for using in haunted attractions, and haunted attraction actors will sweat and get gross and all that good stuff, so the alcohol-based makeup dries really quickly and doesn't smear as easily. With that being said, I kind of laid out the different colors that I'm mixing here. I have the red, the white, the black, the blue, and then I actually mixed together my blue and my yellow in order to make a green, which I'll show you in just a minute here. And basically you just pour the pigment into the little bottle, shake it up, and make sure that you have the isopropyl alcohol in there with it to dilute the actual pigment, and that's what lets it go through the airbrush machine, and it works really good. And all of these colors will be used on my skin to kind of get that dead look. And then I moved on to using Almay and Sheer Cover foundation and concealer. I don't really know the difference, I just have these as hand-me-downs, and so I put that on my face and tried to make as flat a canvas as I could to really start out this look. And then I took out my airbrush and I put in the white paint, and I started just very lightly putting a layer of white on my face and really trying to drown out the reds in my skin, especially in the lip area and the cheeks, and that just helps give you kind of that dead ghostly look. And then I took a black eyeliner pencil from the dollar store at some point, and I took the sort of rig that I have for the shelf that my neck is supposed to be sitting on, and I take that pencil and I just trace the line where it sits on my neck, because I don't need to be putting any makeup below that line necessarily as far as the actual severed head look goes. And then I just touch it up a little bit and move on to my blue. And the blue is used to really take the oxygen out of your skin, so it's important that you get a bunch in the eye region, around the lips a little bit. Be very, very careful with that, and around the severed part of your neck, because that's where oxygen is going to be out of your skin. And then this is where I started to put veins into this look, and I have a lot of veins in my skin anyway, so I was able to mostly trace them. Veins are very hard to do with a airbrush machine, so you'll want to really practice on a piece of paper if you're new to this. And then I moved on to the green. I used it on the lower portion of my neck, thinking that it would help with editing purposes later. It really didn't, but it was kind of fun to mix it and see what I could do there. And then I also used the green in the rest of my skin as well to really highlight those veins and that sort of thing. Caucasian people in particular have a lot of different colors in their skin, including green and blue and purple, that you wouldn't really expect necessarily, so that's where I was going there. Then I'm mixing some colors and trying to get that black to work with my airbrush machine. And basically I start out with the black, just making that line where my neck is supposed to be severed a little bit darker. I should have put more makeup on because I didn't realize that the rig was going to rub off a bunch of it. But that's maybe a thing to add to a glow up in the future. And this is where my footage gets a little bit weird as I'm putting the veins on my face, because my airbrush machine is hooked up to an air compressor and that was making the table kind of move a little bit, and so my camera was going, so I apologize, close your eyes if you have motion sickness. That's where we're at there. And then I started using a red color to really accent everything that I could. The goal is not to add red back into your face. We used the white to take the red out, right? But to kind of accent the blue and really create purples was more of the goal here. And my eyes are green, so I used some red around my eyes specifically to have those complementary colors hopefully make my eyes pop. And that's almost the finished look. That's where I'm done with the airbrush, right? But I take this cream makeup palette, which I got on clearance at Walmart a long time ago, and I use the purple from that palette to kind of adjust the veins on my eyes. Your eyes have very thin skin on top of them, so they have the potential to show a lot of veins, and so I really wanted to highlight those veins on the tops of my eyelids and even branch it out to the rest of my face a little bit, give it kind of that bruised kind of feeling. And I think this was a great choice that actually made me very happy with the veins that I worked so hard on the face, because it really brought out those colors and drew attention to that work that I did. And so I do that all over my face and at the stump of my neck, and just kind of blend it out with my fingers. I don't do a lot of really complicated makeups by any means, so I've got kind of archaic tools, but that's what I've got, so I'm gonna work with it. I think it creates more opportunities for creativity. Look at me being an artist, that's so cute. And then I go in with that same cream makeup palette, and it's a zombie palette, so it has this like green gray in it that I dipped another Q-tip into and used in strategic parts around my face to kind of dumb down the color that I just put on there. So I put some around my lips because it's that gray kind of pallor. I wanted to take out some of the color that I put around there. I also used it on my ears, where I didn't spend a whole lot of time with any makeup at this point, and around my neck a little bit, just to dumb down the colors that I did put in there so that they weren't as overdone as my original. And now you can see the rig that I used to make all of the videos that I'm trying to put together now. Using the green screen effect, I can basically make it so that it looks like my head is floating. And then I can put a fridge background behind it, and it makes a really cool effect. And I hope that you guys really enjoy it. With that being said, even if you don't, I think this is a great look at the progress that I've made as an artist in the last couple of years. I think that the colors on this one were a lot more muted, and it gave it a more realistic look, even if my video editing isn't exactly there yet. So how do you think I did? I think it's great, and if you haven't checked out the voices, please do. Beyond that, I don't have a whole lot of thoughts, and I think this is a really great video to be redoing, and thank you to my patrons that actually voted in my poll that I had up on my Patreon. If you're interested in voting on any projects like these, please check out my Patreon. It's one of the perks that you get if you decide to join. Thank you so much for your time. Don't forget to drink some water, and here's 1,000 experience points just for getting to the end of the video. It really helps me out. And I will see you next week. Peace.